One of the best ways to get acquainted in a new city that you don't know too well, but it is a vibrant city, is to wander around aimlessly. No plan, no direction, no itinerary, just wander. Because that way you'll get a sense of how the city landscape is. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Today we're going to wander this beautiful city of Amsterdam. Here in the central area, bordering the red light district, which is up there. We're not going to venture up there. That is a very popular tourist hub, but not so friendly with cameras. But so we're going to walk around what's called the New Market area and then further into the center. Let me know where you're watching from. Right now we're starting with the beautiful views of the canal. Look at that. All the canals around here that made Amsterdam and the Netherlands overall a great global power in the 1600s and 1700s. With these European cities, they're built many hundreds of years ago. So they have really winding pathways, crisscrossing streets, and in this case, a lot of canals. And in my opinion, it's always best way to actually know the city is by wandering, especially if you're not from here. Now, there is definitely value to taking tours or seeing videos made by tour guides. I definitely see the value in that. But I think there's also something valuable about kind of just being on the whim, letting the wind be at your back. So let the wind be at our back today, and let's go. This is the most epic bench I've seen.
It's the same thing as happening.
Someone's sitting down there, so I can't test it right now. So before we continue down this way, I'm gonna go here to the market area. So we have hot dogs, we have flowers being sold. Ron says, thankfully I'm not Amsterdam. Oh, we have clogs, but not the wooden kind, the fluffy kind. So if you don't know, wooden shoes are what is very stereotypical Dutch. They used to wear in order to avoid stepping onto sharp objects in the lowlands, where they would be muddy. Some fresh fruit. Yeah. And this is what is interesting. This is all the coffee shops. And nope, not the ones where you actually end up drinking coffee. There are places to indulge in the nice smoke. But this building is very interesting. So Amsterdam, historically, was a place of guilds. It grew up as a commercial empire. It was one of the very first commercial empires. They took over the world through commerce and trade before the English and French got to the punch. While the Spaniards did it via force and conquistadors, these guys did it through negotiations and through craftsmanship. So Amsterdam had a series of guilds from all different sorts of industries, and these guilds had to have their own halls. So these were one of the guild halls of Amsterdam. So beautiful. Now it's a cafe. This one's a cafe. So we gotta set our terms correctly here in Amsterdam. Because if you ask for a coffee shop, as I mentioned, it's not really about the coffee, it's about the smoking. If you ask for a cafe, it's about the coffee and or a place to have lunch and sit down. So they can mean both. But look how gorgeous this building is. You can see how the US, especially New York, was so inspired by the Dutch. Because while we don't have these pointy tops to our buildings, you can see the inspiration with the brickwork, the turrets, the windows, the window blinds, especially with the older buildings. Ron says they were also great negotiators. Excuse me. They were also great negotiators in New York. Yeah, I think that's how. I think it's because of the Dutch that New Yorkers end up getting that entrepreneurial spirit of finance, trade, manufacturing. Wendy says, get a hot dog. You know, these don't strike me as like good traditional Dutch dogs. We'll find a good Dutch dog at some point. Maybe once we go more into the center, I think we'll find some hot dogs. I know Amsterdam kind of has hot dogs. I haven't seen any in my walks yet. Let me know, Dutch urbanists. And I wanted to thank a bunch of Dutch urbanists for giving me amazing recommendations. Stefan, Mr. Bot, Thomas. We have a lot of people that have given me a host of recommendations. All right, let's try this bench because this guy left. Look at this, an artsy bench. Let's review an artsy bench. Wow. It's not, I don't think it's quite a whispering bench. We got Bob and Company right over here. Oh. Oh, yeah. Is this a bench or is this a throne? This is awesome. It's like a huge love seat bench. It's cozy. That means if you're like Bob and have like 5 or 6 lovers, it's a love seat. Very nice. It's comfortable. I like it. They have a perfect slope, very high top, so you can kind of rest your head, making sure there's no gunk on it. No gunk on the bench. All right, just the minimal gunk on the bench. No bird poo. There is a lot of cigarettes though. A lot of cigarettes. Yeah, this is a smoking corner right over here. It's very curvaceous bench too. Comfortable, spacious. And I also love that it has kind of footrest. You're elevated from the ground level. It feels good. It feels very stately. Wow. Ella says I look very stately. There we go. This is a good bench. Now, downside is the crowd in front of us. Unfortunately, it's not the most appetizing view. Amsterdam is not quite like the Scandinavian countries. It's not quite New York though. So despite the view in front of us, it's nice. It loses points because of the view, but this is a good artsy bench. I would give this a very good during the daytime. I think this is not so friendly in the nighttime. So it also loses points for that. I'll give it a very good 6.8 out of 10. Mostly because I don't feel as calm here, I think, because of the crowd, but the bench is nice. There we go, 6.8 out of 10, an artsy bench. All the points for comfort, very little for ambience. Sam says, are you visiting other places in the Netherlands? There are other places outside of Amsterdam? In the Netherlands? I thought Amsterdam was the Netherlands. I'm joking around. Stay tuned, maybe. Every day is an adventure here on Urbanist. Who knows? Will there be other places in the Netherlands? Where? Will I go? I don't know. Stay tuned. Put on those notifications. John says that's a good score. Yeah, it's a good score for, despite the crowd. We have an old school building that's old school. Old school building that was an old school. Yeah, here. Beware and Vorsbinden School. Now it's a hostel for Christians called Shelter. John says, let's go to Brooklyn and see if it's better than Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. Nomás dice que quiero volver. Ron says, I sent you a screenshot of Action Kids bike gear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad he published what he uses to stream from a bike. Did you go window shopping last night? No, I did not go window shopping last night. Window shopping here takes a whole different meaning in Amsterdam, I'm afraid. Oh, this is an interesting canal area. Look, we're so close to the water. Huh, look, an old urinal. Yep, if you don't know if that's a urinal, yeah, you can tell by the smelly puddle right there. This is the first canal I've seen that was very low-lying. Is the red light district really that big? I thought it was only on one street further up, so I gotta go further out. Hey, Mighty Bull says, "Kids, Cannabis Heaven." Yeah. So I didn't realize that the red light district actually extends down here. I thought it was a bit further up, so I'm gonna go around it. Marianne says, "I love the architecture." I'll show you more architecture. Let me just get around the red light district. Marie Antoinette, nice to see you here. I'm so glad you're tuning in. Hello, Mighty Bull, Colleen, Russell. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Lilac. Marianne loves the architecture. Yeah, it's gorgeous architecture. It really is. Oh my God, there's a smart shop. I've heard about these. Oh wow, look at that. Magic Truffles, ladies and gentlemen. They have psilocybin. Wow. I did not realize that was so public. Apparently they're selling peyote. But I don't think in edible form. It's to grow merely for horticultural value. They have peyote and San Pedro. Just for horticultural value, nothing else. You're not gonna consume that. No, never. But they do have, for consumables, they do have magic truffles. And they have regular mushrooms like lion's mane, reishi, chaga, other ones. I had no idea it was so public, the so-called smart shops. And I'm surprised that they're selling peyote. So if people don't know, peyote is very, very, very criminalized drug in the US. It's a hallucinogen, but used by Native American tribes. So some of them do legally use it in America within reservations. Ooh, beautiful. Brett says, is oregano allowed on the streets? You know, I don't know. I don't think so. I've rarely seen people smoke in the streets. So here we get more shops. We have a lot of shops here. Oh, this is CBD. Oh, that's cool. This is a CBD store. So CBD is a non-psychoactive component of cannabis. So it's not like THC. Ooh, big shop. Nicholas, will you visit Aunt Frank's house? Aunt Frank's house I went to earlier today. No video or photo are permitted inside, so I can't really show you anything. And I didn't have the opportunity to really reach out to them. And then the house is really not too visible from the outside. But if we do pass it, I'll point it out. Have you had some stroop waffles? No, not yet. Ella says, as someone who has medical oregano license in New Jersey, I feel like we could do better. Yeah. The bikes are very dangerous, isn't it? I wouldn't say dangerous. What makes you think that, Nick? Yes, the opportunity of a collision is possible, but it seems like it's not too common. Let me know what you think. Wow, a lot of coffee shops here. More coffee shops here. More coffee shops all around here. Nick says the water's so ugly. Yeah, I mean, this has been in industrial use for centuries. I think it's only the past maybe half a century that has not been industrial. Love the flowers. Fowl says, is it tidal? I don't think the tide changes too much. It's not like the Thames in London. Ella says, do you feel people more laid back? Oba says, have you smoked? Yes, I posted a video yesterday. It's only up for a few more hours, so if you want to check out my review of going to a coffee shop, you can. So no, the water line does not change. As you can see, the water line is only maybe a few inches above what it is now. So it doesn't seem like it goes super high up. If that would be very concerning for Amsterdam, because there's a lot of houses all around as well, all around the canals. So that would be very bad for Amsterdam. This is below sea level, so if there is a flood, that would be disastrous for the city. 800,000 plus people below sea level. Yeah, you wouldn't want that to happen. So the Dutch have this huge, gigantic sea wall that prevents all that from coming in. Okay, so I have a hot dog place right behind me. It doesn't look as appetizing as the Danish dogs. The streets are fairly quiet without ambulance and police sirens, unlike New York, says Veronica. Yeah, I've heard one siren this far. They are extremely loud if you come across one. I think even louder than the US ones. But yes, you barely hear them. ABX Girl says the New York City government has gone to Amsterdam to study the seawall. Yes, that's right. All right, we found some traditional Dutch donuts. We got Dunkin' Donuts over here. We got traditional Dutch pizza, New York pizza. Doesn't look too appetizing. Yeah. The House of Fries. Why is this so full? Okay, I'll be right back. There's music playing. right, here it is. So we got fries with truffle mayo right over here. Let's try them out. They strike me as they're made American style, which means that they're frozen. I think that might be the case. So let's see how they are. And Peggy says, what was that hand gesture? People always leave weird hand gestures. Remember, we're in a country where there's a lot of tourists. There's people from all around the world. So yeah, sometimes people leave both nice hand gestures and crude ones as well. So yeah, I think they're done American style where they're frozen. I'm not 100% sure, but they kind of smell like it. They kind of seem like it. They're warm. They're hot. They look very yellow, which is nice. Let's try them on their own. They're very salty. Good taste on the fries themselves. Tastes like a really good American fry. Are they crunchy? Medium crunch. Not high crunch like a McDonald's fry or a crinkle fry or one of those really skinny fries. Not like that. Medium crunch. Not as fluffy and soft as a British chip. So we're kind of in the midway between British chip and American fry. Good truffle mayo though. Yeah, good truffle mayo. There does appear to be some specks of mayo, which is interesting. Look at that. I mean, specks of truffle. Look at that. How much was that? $4.50. €4.50. Sorry, 450 euro. So you say that food is an asset for Amsterdam, asked Nicholas. Yeah, more so than Scandinavia. As I mentioned, there's good food in Scandinavia, but I wouldn't say that you would go out your way to have food in Scandinavia. It's not a culinary experience. I would say Amsterdam is a bit more of a culinary experience, though I still have yet to find out more about it. Ooh, I'm gonna have. Yeah, that's really good. That's a nice, good run-of-the-mill fries, I would say. It's not definitely mind-blowing, but it's nice. Ron says, I love fries with melted cheese and tomato red sauce. Yes, that is interesting. They don't have, they have some stacked fries here with cheese on it, but yeah, that's something interesting. Hey, Miss Wendy says, please share. The fries look like something you would get in Brussels. Really? So I assume maybe they're getting some Brussels inspiration. These guys are apparently from 1987. So they've been here for quite a while. I gotta admit, this is really good mayo. Oh yeah. Tony says, do you prefer oregano or dill? I think I needed a break from all the Scandinavian dill. There was a lot of dill in Scandinavia. Oh yeah. Hello, Kristen from Texas. Nice to see you here. Miss Lob says, I think he had a bitterballen somewhere. Ooh, what's that? Do remind me. When you get a chance, bitterballen is a must try. I don't know what that is. Do let me know what it is. ABX Girl says, Americans go to the EU to get away from the salt. But yeah, if you're having fries, you're not going to get away from the salt. Depends on the country. Britain didn't put too much salt. No, Britain never put salt on their chips, their fries. Do they have cannabis infused beer here? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. you don't see too much infusions aside from edibles or smoking. They're getting better the more I bite into them. I think this would be good after a coffee shop. Yeah, I think this will hit the spot. Marie Antoinette says, I too like fries with the beef steak. Yeah, that's a good combination. Steak and frites, very French. And I assume nearby Belgium also has those. That was good. All right, let's continue walking around. Wow. I do recommend them. This is a good bite. I'm not sure if you could get them for cheaper. Fries, let us know. Dutch Urbanists. Netzogino says, more than a pizza with shrooms? No, that pizza that I had yesterday was divine. The best pizza so far in my Northern European adventure. Now we're going to busy Amsterdam. Someone left a $10 super chat. Who was it? Who are you? Judy! Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, Judy. Thank you so much. You the best, Judy. There's two amazing Judys in this world. One is Judge Judy, and two is you. Thank you so much, Judy. Wow, this is bustling. Dia says, I just passed the Cannabis Museum. What? That's interesting. I didn't know that those existed. There's a Ripley's Believe It or Not here. Look at that. Just like New York City. Ooh. Cool tilings. Brett sent the £5 super chat. Thank you so much, Brett. I appreciate you. Miss Love says, well, how about Judy Dead? She's cool too. Oh, look at this. Too many people. Wow, beautiful chandelier. Wow, is this the Times Square of Amsterdam? Man. This puts a dam in Amsterdam. Lisa says, how's restroom availability? Very little public restrooms. I've only seen 2 in my entire 3 days here thus far. It's a bit easier to go to a cafe, not a coffee shop, a cafe for coffee to get your restroom needs. Not all of them have them though. It's similar to New York. Some cafes will have them, others won't. Coffee shops seem pretty much that they don't have them. Makes sense because they don't want people to abuse them. I have not tried a bar, so I don't know about that. I'm looking at all the cool fashions on the street. Kay says, comments are not working on FB. Everyone has to keep refreshing to see them. Oh yeah, oh no, that sucks. If anyone wants to hop onto YouTube, go to Urbanist Exploring Cities. That seems to be a glitch on Facebook's end. And there's really nothing I can do. Wow. Ah, pigeons here. Wow. Wendy asked, will you ride a bike soon? Maybe. What languages do they speak? That's a great question, Sebastian, I mean. Dutch and English. Dutch are very multilingual. They're among the more multilingual societies in Europe. So it could be that I've heard Dutch speak Spanish. I've heard them speak French. I've heard them speak German. Steve! Steve, thank you so much for a $20 super chat. Steve has sent a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Photo press tour. Ooh, what is this? World Photo Press. World Press Photo. What does that mean? Ooh, some naked coffee. Look at that. Ludo says Dutch are not so good in French. Ah, I see. Is this open to the public? Let's see. So it's a ticketed event. And the photos usually have copyright. So let me show you the church from here, this perspective. Old church. Wow. Beautiful. So it's a ticketed event. €15 to enter. Chris says, did you get the Amsterdam pass? No. Oh, I did not. To be honest with everyone, I'm a bit bored of museums. When it comes to traveling, at the moment I really enjoy walking outside, seeing the architecture, going on the boats, trying all the modes of transportation in my own personal time. If there's museums that I can film, then I do. But otherwise, most museums is hard to film, so I don't do it too often anymore either. So because of those two reasons, I'm not going to too many museums. I think I am interested in going to Rembrandt, though. I want to see Rembrandt's Night Watch. That's the one thing I do want to see. And it's okay to have different tastes as you travel around. Doesn't mean you won't like something forever, but sometimes if you don't want to do something, just don't do it when it comes to traveling. If you don't want to, for example, a lot of people when they travel, they think they have to go out every single day and do a bunch of things. If you don't want to do that, you want to sit at a cafe most of the time, don't make anyone make you feel guilty for that. Just sit down at the cafe. You'll probably enjoy your travel significantly if you do what you like to do. So yeah, do what you want to do. But I did visit the ABBA Museum in Sweden, and that was amazing. Contra says, yeah, you have to be in the mood for art. Yeah, art museums are a bit more compelling during the winter time in order to escape the cold and the darkness of night. So they're a bit more comfortable. Wow, this is full. Oh, we have a Samit Sarai. Look at this. This is a Turkish Starbucks. This is packed. There's too many people. So this is FIBO. And a lot of people have wanted to see this. I got it. Oh, you can pay now. Oh, wow. So you used to need cash before, but now it's cashless. So let's try one of them. So automats, yeah, automats have still been a thing. What should I try here? Let me know. Not the burgers; those don't look appetizing. This does not look appetizing. But I think one of these might be appetizing. We got one made with creamy ragout. Ooh, Dutch veal. Ooh, I'm already into that one. Dutch beef here. Yeah, I'm gonna get the. Bear with me.
That's all right.
Oh, look at that. It's a fried chicken. That's funny. So I ended up getting the one with chicken. That's so cool. So this is Febo. Febo, let's try Febo. There's a lot of people here. I would say this is not fancy. Someone just said that this is very fancy. Yeah, I guess so, technologically speaking, yeah. The food doesn't seem too fancy though. We'll try it out. That was too hot. Ooh. It's cool outside. It's warm outside. Inside, it's a burning pit of hell. Inside, it's a cauldron. The most fiery depths of any volcano. Outside is nice and tropical. It's like a beautiful island paradise. Inside, it's the most terrible fires that have ravaged cities all around the world. Wow, that is super hot. I need water, yes. Daniel, yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good. It reminds me of a gigantic croquette. Spanish croquette. So, croquette's similar, very creamy in the inside. Chicken is kind of so tenderized that's beyond recognition. And it's just a chicken goo. And it's a pretty good chicken goo, I gotta say. It's nicely condimented. The breading is nice. It's crunchy on the breading. It holds the entire thing together. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yeah. It's pretty good. Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of a slight peppery kick. That peppery kick makes it even more appetizing. It needs that peppery kick because if it didn't, then this would just be pure goo. One more bite.
What goes there?
So hot. Whew. Time for a water review. Joseph says it needs some mustard. Ooh, I heard about that. But I think what we need is a water review. Because I burned my tongue. I no longer have feeling in my mouth. Including my throat. Oh my god. I feel the burning goo going down my throat. Oh no. I'm gonna need some water ASAP. Water stat. Oh yeah, these streets are cool. Let's go through these streets. Cafe Belik. Ooh, beer. Awesome. Let's try some beer, shall we? Okay, so I end up getting a brand Pilsner, which is from the south of Holland, South Holland. Not sure if he meant overall Netherlands or he meant the actual area of Holland. Not sure which one he meant, but let's try our first Dutch beer. It costs €3.80, which is, it's more expensive than Britain because this is half a pint. So it's more expensive than Britain. This is pretty much in line with American prices. A little bit cheaper than American prices. Cheers. But cheaper than Scandinavia, that's for sure. Elsie says, which brand? Brand. That's the brand. It's brand. Brand is the brand. I ain't joking with you. It's literally called brand. What percentage? I think it was like 4.1, 4.2. It wasn't one of the high ones. They had some super high percentage ones. Andre says, tourist price. Let me know. What's the price that you get outside of Amsterdam? That's good. Wow. I like it. It's light, crisp, soothing my entire insides after that burning croquette. LC says it's owned by Heineken. Oh, interesting. It's owned by Heineken. Contrast says, I'm making you thirsty. Yeah, the inside of the bar looks cool. The bartender is very, very sick. That man needs some NyQuil inside the bar. So I'm not going to sit inside the bar to avoid getting a cold. So Dutch water, says class. It is Dutch water? Nice. Hey Ron, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for the stars. Visible souls enjoying life, says what a joke. Yes, indeed. You're around the corner from the Amsterdam Museum. Alex, yeah, there's a lot of museums. Unfortunately, if it were possible, I would love to take people into museums spontaneously while making a video, but I can't. The place is beautiful. Yes, gorgeous bar. Gorgeous bar. Ambrose says NyQuil has alcohol in it. Yep. You can party and feel better at the same time. Do you like the beer? I do. It's kind of a classic light beer. It's good. Hey Sally, nice to see you here. Chile says Thailand near Los Brunei. Chile's watching from Thailand. Wow. It's nearly midnight. It's raining and hot. Cool. Thank you so much for tuning in, Chile. Contrast says, oh my, the pandemic is not going to go away. So yeah, it's a good beer. It's from 1340 apparently. Let me know if this is true. America tends to sometimes do this. I'm not sure if this happens too much in Europe. I mean, I know that European things are old, but let me know, is this truly from 1340? I'll show it to you. Joseph says, I leave for a friend's funeral. Hey, Joseph, sorry, my condolences, Joseph. My condolences. Everyone, give your condolences to Joseph. He lost a friend. He's about to head over to the funeral. Thank you so much for saying hello, Joseph. Tamo confirms. Yes, the brewery is actually from 1340. It was from monasteries. Interesting. It was derived from monasteries. You need to try a Hertog John beer. It's good, says Veroni. Yes, I will try at least one Heineken. Barra says you can visit the Heineken experience. I'm tempted. A lot of people keep repeating it. Heineken, I don't think a lot of people are aware. I'm not sure if the Dutch are aware. Heineken has a terrible reputation in the US. Really terrible reputation. It used to be cool decades ago, for my parents' generation, that was the cool thing to drink. It has a terrible reputation now. So when people tell me about the Heineken experience, I'm skeptical because I grew up learning that Heineken was among the worst beers, at least the American one. But Guinness has always been pretty mediocre. It's always had a mediocre reputation. But when I went to Ireland, the Guinness was heavenly. That was good. I like this. Another. That was great. All right, let's go. Try brand beer. It's a nice light beer. And this bar was very cute. What's the name? Cafe Belgique. Belgique. So Belgium. Dr. Tachi has left a $10 super chat. Says next snack on me. Oh, thank you so much. We're snack hopping, so thank you so much. We're snack hopping, coffee hopping. We're doing all the hopping. Ooh, vintage shop. Ooh. Ooh, heart necklace. That was cool. Oh, this is why I wanted to see the church, the new church. Let's check it out. Let's wait a little bit. Coffee shop, lots of coffee shops all around. When you see unsavory types, there's two gentlemen in front of me. When you see unsavory types, take your time. Don't walk close to them because just follow street smarts. If someone has a bunch of face tattoos, yeah, maybe watch out a little bit. They're either a rapper from the U.S. or an unsavory type in Europe. It's gorgeous. Wow. Amazing. Pretty street, yeah. Gary says to match your Scotch tweed, you're gonna need some wooden clogs. Ooh, mussels. Entrance is this way. All right, let's see the entrance. That's the backside of the photo exhibition, says Elsie. Really? Oh, really? Well, thank you so much, Elsie. I appreciate that. Wow, this church is huge then. Too bad that the photo exhibition is a photo exhibition. I would love to just see the church. Ah, but look what we have here. Some wooden shoes. Exactly what I need in the New York City subway system. To avoid all sharp needles. Ooh, Aperol Spritz. What? A Dutch Aperol Spritz. Look at that. Isabel says, finally. Here's the tram. Contrast says, I love to hang out at cafes, no longer interested in museums. I'm glad a few other people have similar feelings. Every time I hear that sound, I think of the YouTube channel Not Just Bikes, because he uses this as his intro. All right, let's cross. There's no sidewalk here, so I'm crossing in bike territory. So Amsterdam still has unpaved roads. Hey, Dr. Teshi says it has a New York feel. Oh yeah. Amsterdam does feel a bit like New York. Let's check out this building. Contrast says awful construction. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, is this an exhibition? This is a shopping mall? Lilac says, I love the architecture. Me too. It's gorgeous. Irene says, this is a construction site. Yeah, they were doing construction. Wow. Look at this. That's cool. Yeah. Tamo, thank you so much. Former post office, now a shopping center. Gorgeous. Gorgeous post office building. Gorgeous building. Hey, Barra says, this reminds me of the Alhambra. Oh, interesting. There is a possibility that it is inspired. There is a possibility. There is the impressive facade between Dam Place, and the new Kirk, which is the new church, has been a trusted landmark in our city for almost a century. This is only one of the many reasons why local considers Magna Plaza Interesting. One of the 10 most valuable monuments of the city of Amsterdam. This has been an indoor shopping center and lifestyle center since the city in 1992. And there we go, we got an Instagrammer to prove that's a lifestyle place. Paul says it makes Primark look like a fossil. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, these houses are cute. Wow. It's funny, right now in the radio, you can barely hear it. They're playing Empire State of Mind by Alicia Keys. Doug says, what does America do with their money? I'm trying to figure out the same thing, Doug. That is an excellent question, Doug. I don't know. So Doug is referring to why America doesn't have too many of these gorgeous like monuments and places that are reused for. It could be reused for shopping centers. We don't do that too much. Those houses are from the KLM Business School. Oh, cool. That's cool. Cynthia says we have a Primark on Staten Island. Oh, wow. You know, the original Staten is right here in Netherlands. It was a state house. Dr. Tachi says exactly, where does the money go in America? Yeah, I have no idea. Military. But they can't even track that. As I mentioned, a review was done, an audit was done shortly after 9/11 to see where the money was being spent. $21 trillion with the T, trillion dollars were unaccounted for. They couldn't find receipts for those expenses. All right, let's zigzag through here. Oh, scaffolding reminds me of good old New York City. Ah, look at this. They're building another bridge. Christine says, "Where are you? What area are you in?" I don't know how to pronounce it. It starts with New, Newt, the Dutch version of New. This is basically the center of Amsterdam, right in the center. I don't think we've left to the canal, the canal ring area yet. So center, Amsterdam. Only about 10-minute walking to the red light district and to that famous square that we passed by. So yeah, that's where we're at. Amsterdam, for being a small city, can feel rather large because it's so dense. Netherlands is some of the densest country in the entire world. Netherlands has such a big population squeezed into a tiny little country. Here, a boat about to pass. Samo says the city center is also pretty big. Paul says better than Sheffield. I don't know, Paul. Sheffield was a great city. I don't know. We all know that Sheffield was a amazing place, filled with wonder, and Worcestershire sauce. I mean Henderson sauce. Hey, Dr. Tachi says Amsterdam would be a great place to host Urbanist International Meetup. You know, funnily enough, Dr. Tachi, right now, I just happened, by pure coincidence, I did not plan this. There's TwitchCon over here in Amsterdam this weekend. I did not know about that prior to coming here. Look at this. 1663, this building was constructed. Excuse me, I really need water. Brian says the city seems crowded because of TwitchCon. I assume there are a bit of people coming to TwitchCon, but I don't think it's that much. These beautiful outdoor cafes. Solderic says that building is haunted. Interesting. Alexander says, great job on filming. Oh, thank you so much. Netherlands was mostly reclaimed land from the underwater, says William. Oh, yes. Doug says 5 stars for you. Excellent tour. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Are people smoking while walking? No, pistol. I've rarely seen anyone do that. Veronique says, have you used public transportation? Yes, it is very efficient. Though it doesn't go as many places as you would want to. So if public transportation, I found myself walking for like 10 minutes to most places. It's not too bad. It's pretty good actually. But bike does seem to be the most efficient mode of transportation by far. By far. So if you're able to ride a bike, I think do it because you'll get to most places very quickly. Wendy says, who's that? I don't know. Multatuli. I don't know who Multatuli is. If anyone does, do let us know. Mathona, Chris, everyone asking for the museums. No, I've barely been to any museums. Multatuli was a writer. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Oh, here's a smoke shop called Gray Area. Wow. Ah, this is a store, ladies and gentlemen. A rubber ducky. We got Donald Duck, we got Elvis Duck, we got Captain Jack Duck. Marilyn Millard. Oh. Wow. a fancy fry place. Look at that. Here's the boat tour we took yesterday. Wendy says, get a rubber ducky. They do look cool. That would be an interesting souvenir. We have like 2 or 3 of those in New York, the rubber duck stores. Lilac says, that's where all my money would go, on rubber ducks. I don't blame you, they're cute. Oh, look at what we have here. Cows. We got Super Cow. We got a Moondrian. We got Pow Cow. We got the Golden Cow. Cow Oulé. New York Cow Taxi. Oh, that's fun. My grandmother who has passed many years ago, more than a decade ago, she used to collect cows. And I actually passed by the store earlier today, and I wish I would have been able to give her a cow present, but she's no longer with us. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. Let's give her a nice super cow. The super cow's suit was purple though, says Paulo. Oh, yeah, I guess copyright, I assume. Yep. Ooh, free washer. Nice. No skyscrapers, says Irene. No skyscrapers. There's a few, but we have to get outside the center. Peggy says she was with you in spirit, so in a way you gave her a cow. Thank you. There's a book about bookstore all about architecture. Tamo says Rotterdam has skyscraper. Cool. Look at these tilings. Wow. Chris says I should visit Jordan. Ooh, yes, thank you. Jordan. I think we're even close to Jordan. Oh, here's the other boat tours. This is called Flagship. This is cool because it's pretty open.
Hey, ik wil eten.
So these are the same pizza guys I had yesterday. The pizza bakers. Try them out. They have another location, Harlemstraat. I forgot what was called the area we were at yesterday. This is their other location. Really, really great pizzas. Highly, highly recommend them. Oh, they actually have them to go. Oh, there's a to-go place. Oh, wow. There's a wood fire oven and everything. Look at that. That's so cool. Huh. Cool. So yesterday I got the fungi and pancetta one with red sauce. It was really good. One of the best pizzas I've had. Do recommend it. Tim says takeaway in Europe. It is rare. This seems to be a bit more takeaway friendly than other European cities. London is probably the #1 city to have food for takeaway and casual food. This is a gorgeous building. Wow. This city is just magical. Tim says in America we say take out, but here in EU it's mostly take away. Yes. Yeah, that is the difference. So remember everyone, bicyclists usually have the right of way. Chris says you should also have Indonesian food. Yes, check out yesterday's video. LC says this is because almost every restaurant can deliver food. Really? Oh, that's interesting to hear. That restaurants here do takeout. Oh, interesting. This is the Hotel Astoria. Wow. This is so interesting. This is like neo-medieval or medieval revival. I would call it neo-medieval with a little bit of Art Deco elements to it. And it's pretty much raw concrete, so it's kind of a little bit brutal. That's an amazing building. Wendy says no street music here. There are people playing music off their bikes, but it has been pretty rare. Less than the US. Wow. I want this building. How much is it? If you're a real estate Dutch urbanist, do let me know. I am looking for a building. I think this is the one. As I mentioned, the US dollar to euro conversion is amazing right now, so I'm extremely rich over here in Europe. So I'm gonna buy this building. Yeah, I want this one. This is an amazing building. I love it. Let's get up close to it and touch it. Oh wow, yeah, rough concrete. Yeah, very brutal. Wendy says we will all move it. It'll be the Urbanist Hotel. Kay says it'll be the Urbanist headquarters and party central, yes. Wow. It's a painter's studio. Touch the red button. It says, can you show us a coffee shop from the outside? Towards the beginning of the video, I showed a lot of coffee shops. We were in an area with a lot of coffee shops. So check them out. And that area is really full. Let's check it out. Pistol says, would an American feel comfortable living here? English is ubiquitous here. Everyone's speaking English. And if you're used to Boston, New York, some type of big city, this feels just right like that. In my opinion, this city feels the most like Boston. Very similar vibe. So here's the Tulip Museum. Highly recommend going in there. It is a blast. I will be posting a Super Urbanist only video of the Tulip Museum. And publicly, I'll be posting a video of right here, the Cheese Museum, right next door. Look at that. I was really moved by this museum. It was a bit cheesy though, but it was nice to learn the way how they make cheese and all the culture that surrounds it. So stay tuned for some cheese. Wow. I just can't get enough of how gorgeous the city is. Kay said, Kay asked, have I masticated? I said, geez, I have, yeah. It was really good. That place had a lot of samples. Cool sign on this building. Look at that. Wow. Rick says the British are overly emotional, the French are overly emotional, the British are overly intellectual, and the Dutch are overly friendly. I have not experienced friendliness. People are respectful. It's not nowhere near as serious as Scandinavia, or as Sweden specifically. People are respectful. They're open, they're chill, they're down to earth, they're casual. Direct, forthright. That's definitely for sure. I have not experienced too much warmth though here in Amsterdam. The Dutch are very direct. Yeah, they're very, very direct. I experienced more warmth in Denmark. Denmark had a lot of people smiling, saying hello. Different from Ireland, but there was a lot more kind of happiness visibly seen on the citizens. Ooh, old sign right here. Like it says radio. Kay says, have you sampled the local leaves? Check out the live video from yesterday. Only up for a few more hours today. Is this your first time in the Netherlands, says B. Chris? It is, yeah. So that's my first impressions of the Netherlands. Carol says, what are the friendliest and happiest people? It depends. Friendly and happy are not going to be mutually exclusive. The friendliest people in the world are the Irish. From my experience, of course, I've only been to Europe and North America, but from my experience of those two areas of the world, the friendliest are the Irish. the happiest. Something about Denmark. It just seemed genuinely happy. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't like joking around, boisterousness, drinking. No, well, there was a lot of drinking, but it wasn't that boisterousness. But there was some kind of down-to-earth, kind of genuine happiness that I saw in Denmark. It was very interesting. I think you just have to see the live video, especially the one on the canal. You'll kind of get the idea of what I mean. So here we're starting to pass in front of the Anne Frank Museum, which I visited earlier. You can't take photos or videos once you're inside the house, but you're allowed to take a photo of the presentation. So I'll show you the presentation. So you end up going to the museum. They give you about 30-minute presentation telling you all about Anne Frank. It's really cool. The person who gave my presentation was really good storyteller. Let me pop up a few photos. So it was a good storyteller. She told us about 30 minutes, everything about Anne Frank, her journey, what happened to her family, how she got to write the diary, what happened afterwards, and how the diary became worldwide. It's this building right here, the Anne Frank Museum. All extends all around the corner. So this is the entire house area. It's a huge line. You have to book well in advance, but thanks to LK. So everyone, round of hearts to Loek, L-O-E-K, a fellow Dutch urbanist who provided me with a ticket on her. I'm not sure how she got it, but she got a last minute ticket early this morning, which was really hard. So thank you so much. Here also in the presentation area, I saw a star, the Jewish star that people wore. It was very saddening to see that. We see the company that her father, Otto Frank, actually, the reason he even came to the Netherlands was because he came to run a company that was jelly powder. It helped people make jelly a lot easier, jams. And he had a lot of success here, despite it being right next to the Germans and their party trying to ban all Jews and also later, far worse, exterminate. It was very, very sad, but he had decided to take his chances and start a business here. Very successful. Unfortunately, he eventually had to sell his business. And then we have a bike that Anne probably would have not ridden a bike, but Margot, yes. Margot was Anne's sister, much older, and she most likely used this type of bike driving around the streets of Amsterdam. And we do see a photo that has Anne in there. Anne is all the way there in the center. You see her with the little black hair. There's like a number 10 on her. That should be Anne. LC says, happy to help you. Oh, thank you so much, LC. And this is really cool. I'm not sure if this was a replica. I think this was a replica. But later on in the museum, you do see the real version. There you can't take photos or videos. But here they have the red checkered notebook. That was the notebook that Anne Frank used to write down her diary. Oh, LC says it's pronounced Luke. Oh, cool. Luke. Okay, Luke. Thank you so much for letting me know. Luke. I didn't realize. Thank you so much. And yeah, that was the entire experience. So right over there. If you want to go, book well in advance. I got lucky because of Luke. Very kind of him or her, just let me know. Sometimes it's hard to tell the gender with foreign names that I'm not familiar with yet. But thank you so much, Luke. But do book well in advance. All right, let's continue walking around. Luke says, I'm a he. Okay, thank you so much, Luke, for clarifying. I appreciate that. Oh. There was a really cool spot here for food. I don't remember where it was. The editor who rescued the diary from the rejected pile in the US was Julia Child's editor, who was featured in the HBO series. Oh, cool fact. I love that. I think it's down this way. That's awesome. Thank you so much for letting us know, SVLs. All right, we're going to check out this church soon. William says, I heard that most of Anne Frank's story was used by the Dutch as a PR tool. I don't know about that specifically, but, you know, anytime there's a very inspirational story that is derived from very sad events, can you blame the country for using it to its benefit, especially to rebuild the country? So cool, these canals. Look. Wendy says, look at the edge of this building. Oh, we will. We'll look at all the of all the buildings. All right. Yeah, this is definitely a very, 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 very sharp iron. Yeah, the flat iron is not new. Daniel Burnham, I don't think he cited inspiration from the Amsterdam, but I wouldn't doubt that he was inspired by Amsterdam. Here's one of the cleaning trucks. Kay says, did you sleep better last night? I did sleep better last night, yeah. So Kay's asking if I slept better last night because I'm staying in a hotel where it was very noisy. The doors outside my room, so the doors in the hallway, very, very noisy. So every time I will just boom, just slam and make my room tremble. I went up to the front desk, asked if my room can be changed, and they're really booked. So then I proceeded to ask, just calmly, just no hard feelings. I asked, hey, what's your cancellation policy if I were to cancel the rest of my stay right now? And then once I asked that, they hired a handyman to fix all the doors. I saw him, and they came to my room and say, hey, sorry about that. We're fixing it right now. So they were very, very responsive. So pro tip, if you're ever in a bad situation in a hotel, just calmly ask them what's their cancellation policy. It'll kind of wake them up without any bad blood or resentment. You know, because sometimes if you are angry at an attendant, they're not gonna want to help you. They'll be either afraid or they won't want to help you, or they'll be angry themselves. So just calmly ask them, what's your cancellation policy? I do that with a lot of like services in the US too, if I ever get bad service. Okay, this place I wanted to try. Let me know if you want to try some food. This is banh mi. Banh mi is a Vietnamese sandwich, but this is the most fancy banh mi I've ever seen in my life. Let's go. Hi, how's it going? Hey, everyone, learn from my mistakes. Luckily, the person behind the counter wasn't Dutch, but do beware if you're American or Irish, and you're used to saying, hey, how's it going? Which New Yorkers and Irish do. If you're used to saying, hey, how are you? Don't do it here in the Netherlands, especially the Dutch find it somewhat offensive because it seems like you're prying into their lives, similar to Scandinavians. So I've learned to not say it. I said it there by mistake, but there the person wasn't, or at least not fully Dutch, Vietnamese. So it didn't matter because Vietnamese is also a different culture. But yeah, do watch out. Don't say, hey, how's it going to a Dutch person, because especially if they're not used to Americans, they're gonna find it a bit weird. It's like, why are you asking me? Like, I don't even know you. So it's like that.
You're Americano. If
Hey,
you need
thank you so much.
fingers inside.
Okay, I appreciate it. Hey. All right, so welcome to the live video. We're gonna eat by the canals. There's a bunch of benches all around. Let's wait for the banh mi. Problem with a lot of European places is they sometimes don't have lids. Ron says if you say, hey, how's it going to a Filipino, they'll tell you their life story. Well, it depends. Yeah, thank you so much for the heads up. I appreciate that, Ron. Destructionist says, my puppy is fascinated by all the bikes passing through. He keeps doing that head tilt. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. Wendy says, Insta coffee is my fave. I'm glad. I can't relate, but I'm glad. Contrast says, is there a public restroom available? I don't know about this place. It doesn't seem like it. So I can't tell for sure. But it doesn't seem like it. So don't be surprised if a lot of fast food places here in Amsterdam don't have restrooms. And there's not that many public restrooms. So if you really gotta go to a cafe, ask if there's a restroom. It's okay. Say, hey, I gotta use the restroom before I order. They'll understand. Just be direct. Don't beat around the bush if you're American or British. And then beyond that is certain chain fast food places will have them. Don't go to the American chains because those are always tough to use the restrooms. But the local chains do use them, like the salad places. There's a few places here that are chains that use those. Any bagels in Amsterdam? There are bagels in Amsterdam. There are quite a few bagel places. I haven't tried them yet, Ron, but there are quite a few. It's nice to see a Vietnamese restaurant in Amsterdam. Not a restaurant, it's just a to-go sandwich shop, but it looks gorgeous. So yeah, I'm glad that there are some Vietnamese here. Awesome, thank you so much.
Just curious, what's your channel?
It's called Urbanist Exploring Cities.
Urbanist.
Yeah.
So you do like urban design, or is it just
No,
the
so
name?
I call it Urbanist because I explore cities and talk about the history, architecture, and then learn about the urbanism. I do live streams,
Is
yeah.
it on Twitch?
On Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
Oh, so you do 3 at the same time?
3 at the same time, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
how
So
can you
you're
juggle?
talking about the church then?
What?
About the church.
The church, yeah, I haven't talked about it yet, but I'm excited to go around it. Yeah,
What is it again? Urbanist
exploring cities.
exploring city.
How long you guys been running this Vietnamese place?
2 months now. 2.5.
2 months. Oh, cool.
Cool.
As I mentioned, it's one of the most beautiful places I've seen in terms of Vietnamese food. Because in New York we have some great banh mi, but they're usually bare bones.
Yeah. That's what we wanted to differentiate.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Vietnamese food is underrated.
It truly is. It's some of the best sandwiches ever.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna definitely enjoy this. Have a good day.
Oh, damn! I made the live stream.
You are, yeah. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye. All right, let's find a bench. This coffee's hot. Teresa says they're from New York. Ah, yeah, I couldn't tell the accent. They're Vietnamese. If they're running a Vietnamese sandwich shop, there's a good chance they're Vietnamese. Good benches are important for the city. There are, yeah. There's some construction here, so there's not as many at the moment. But maybe at the square, I'll get a little bit luckier. Cynthia says her English seems to be Americanized. That is the case with a lot of Dutch speakers I've noticed. They speak more American English than British English. The Swedes were speaking a little bit more British English. Plus says there are many international restaurants that speak English. Well, yeah, here just in general you don't have to worry. Just everyone speaks English. I'm juggling coffee, a sandwich, a sparkling water, a camera, and now I see this bench. It's a cool bench. Oh yes, a flat armrest. That is a godsend. Problem with some benches is that they have a slanted armrest. You can place your coffee and food. Ooh, and the cheese shop is right next door. All right, let's try this banh mi. Let's see how it is. WJ says the Dutch watch a lot of vloggers. They do? You know, I've had so many people not knowing what I was doing. Unlike, say, a UK or a Denmark. So that's why I'm a bit surprised to hear that vlogging is a bit popular here. So let's try this out. Look at this. Oh, this looks good. Look at the huge bread. Huge bread. We have a pork banh mi. Some pâtés in there as well. Ooh. A lot of veggies. That's what I love about banh mi. They have all that cilantro, cucumbers. Ooh. All that veggies. Follow My Travelers is another vlogger says they're so cool. It's spicy. Pro tip, if you're dealing with establishments that are a lot of areas from Asia, and they say it's not spicy. Do question it. Those chilies are spicy, but they're really good. That bread is really soft bread. I love the pork. Great amount of veggies, but the bread is amazing. They're using some really good bread. Really soft bread. Makes it for a very enjoyable experience. Is there a sauce? Yeah, there's like a sauce in here. It's really good, trust me. This is a very flavorful sandwich. So, the problem with sandwiches sometimes is they can be rather not flavorful. But this one has a lot of flavor packed in. How much did you pay, said Janice? $14.50? Around there? The back looks high on this bench. It is high on this bench. And very comfortable too, yeah. Because that's expensive. I got coffee too, so bear that in mind. Sandwich is like 8. Coffee maybe is 3 or 4. Sparkling water, about 3. That's why the sandwich itself is about the same price as New York. Excellent sandwich. Look at that. Excellent. Try those guys out. I did not catch the name. I just saw Banh Mi in the front. But search Banh Mi right in front of the Anne Frank Museum. That's the place. Try them out. Banh Mi Deli. So, Ava asks, is this French inspired? It is. It is French inspired. So, the reason Banh Mi even exists was because France colonized Vietnam. And during its colonial period, a lot of Vietnamese end up getting used to French packaged goods. Especially after the separation between France and Vietnam, a lot of the food industry in Vietnam was basically non-existent because it just depended on French food industry. A lot of French did not want to eat anything Vietnamese. So they ate canned foods that were imported over from France. Sure, they had the bread making, but everything else was canned. Canned pate, cold cuts of meat, like the pork over here, a lot of things. So, when the French ended up leaving the country, the Vietnamese actually were left with huge stockpiles of canned foods from the French. And they already had that bread making tradition that they learned from the French. So they end up using those canned goods and then getting more canned goods and then using their own ingredients to make the banh mi. So that's why today we have the Vietnamese banh mi. It's a French-Vietnamese fusion. The bread is softer than the typical French bread or typical French baguette. So it's bigger and softer. Is the bread crispy? Yeah. Crispy exterior, very crispy exterior. Look, it's almost like a shell that cracks. Crispy exterior and really fluffy interior. Contrast says your sandwich is very interesting to pass by. Yeah. Oh yeah. Iriva says, thanks Ariel, I did not know the history of the banh mi. And then ironically we're eating it in Amsterdam, of all places. So Vietnamese end up moving into the US after the Vietnam War. I think there was some policy where the US allowed Vietnamese refugees into the country. So a lot of Vietnamese started moving to the west coast of the US. So banh mi proliferated through the west coast of the US and then eventually into New York, where I started eating them a few years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, a little bit longer, 8 years ago. And they're really popular New York street food. Bob is waiting, yes, and there's a bee. There's a bee misbehaving right here. Wants a piece of the banh mi. Oh, get away. Bees. Alright, there's a bee waiting for the food. But he really wants a bite. Let me be in peace, bee. Nope. This bee really wants a piece. Wendy says, buzz off. Yes, indeed. All right. Let me enjoy the rest of the sandwich. Feel free to ask me anything. Now I'll show you more of this church over here. Tamo Hand says, isn't that a wasp? I don't know. I don't know the difference between wasps and bees. Yep, he's above me. Wendy says, what are we eating next? Glad you're enjoying the banh mi. Oh, there we go, Vin. Vin from Banh Mi Deli, tuning in. Cynthia says, do not swat a wasp. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it left. I love your shirt. Can we see it? It's already looking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it almost looks like a Basquiat. Good coffee too. Really good coffee. Steph says, better put some sunscreen on. I already have sunscreen. Grab a super waffle for dessert, says Chris, and then nap. That sounds like a good idea. Cynthia says, buen provecho. Oh, gracias, Cynthia. Alright, let's go. Wow. Great. Islam, nice to see you here. Pistol asks, do I go on gym on my travels? No, I just sit all day. Pistol. Ida says, video reception is clearer on YouTube. Must be my cell phone. Oh no. No, Pistol. I don't work out per se, but I do walk a lot. So walking is a very good workout. really good pork on this. Look at that. Very nice, juicy pork. And it's also well constructed because the risk of a banh mi is that you can just bite into one of those pickles and just eat the entire pickle. I mean, not pickle, cucumber at once with the entire cilantro. But here they had it nicely cut into pieces, so you don't end up biting into them. Rick says all gyms in Amsterdam allow men and women to steam and sauna naked together. Really? That's interesting. I did not know that. John says, how does it compare to the banh mi in New York? There's some restaurant banh mi's. This tastes like a restaurant banh mi. This does not taste like a fast food banh mi. Fast food banh mi usually has cold cuts. This tastes like a banh mi that you would have at a restaurant that would cost you like $12. So yeah. I see shredded carrots, says Miss Love. Yeah, it has shredded carrots. The sandwich looks fresh. I'm so happy I'm having this right now. Hey, Luke, end up finding out information about the building we just saw. The medieval revival one. The Astoria building should cost around 23 million euros. Well, it's not too bad. I mean, with that exchange rate that now we have as Americans, it's not bad at all. However, you can rent space there, so open up your office there. Nah, just buy the building, Luke. It's a good exchange rate. Gotta take advantage. Thank you so much for the information, Luke. $23 million was that medieval revival building that we just saw. What's your next stop on the journey? Oh, you have to see it soon. Do they deliver to the US? Doubt it. You have to come to Amsterdam. All right, a few more bites. Tomas says, just finished the day, just chilling in my patio, drinking beer, watching Urbanus. Oh, cool. That's awesome. Whoa. Amazing. Wow. Wendy says, wash it down with the beer. Wash it down with some coffee. Wow. George says, now I gotta go and get some fresh bread. Yeah, you can find it in the US. Sometimes it might not be super fresh, but if you can find it in the US, it's nice for a sandwich. Chris says, on your travels so far, where are the most attractive people? Denmark. Wow. I I gotta put on sunglasses. Bear with me. It's a bit too sunny. Thomas says the Vietnamese got their sandwiches from the French and the Surinamese got their sandwiches from the Dutch. Yeah, I never tried a Surinamese sandwich. Suriname sandwich. Pistol says, how's the crime there? It's definitely not as safe feeling as, say, a Copenhagen or a Stockholm. Those cities feel really safe. But it's definitely not as... You don't need to be as cautious as you do in Paris. To me, Amsterdam feels a little bit like London. It feels more like the safer areas of London. Ronique says I should try Surinamese food. Interesting. Roti from Suriname. Oh yes, I've had roti many times before, but not a Suriname version. Not that. Wow. Beautiful church building here. George says, I heard that yesterday some tourists can go back to Japan. Yeah, but there's a lot of restrictions. It really sucks. So if someone could write it down for lilac, it's called Banh Mi, B-A-H-N. How do I spell me? Me is M-H-I. Banh Mi. Wow. Have you seen a Catholic church? Yes, says Beaker. So, the Netherlands is a secular society, pretty much. But historically, it was part of the Protestant Reformation. One of the main leaders was from here, Calvin. So, no, you won't see any Catholic churches. There might be churches in the country that were Catholic, but were converted during the Dutch Reformation with John Calvin. Thank you so much, Anton. So that's how you spell it. And a lot of these churches are not open. It kind of sucks. I love open churches, but no, here pretty much devoid of churches. B. Chris says 20% of the Dutch population is Catholic. Yeah, probably due to immigration or nearby Europeans moving in. But Catholics were persecuted during the Dutch Reformation, so they had to hide, they had to worship in secret. So that's why a lot of that Catholic history has been erased from the Netherlands. All right, let's see what you're going to check out. Go to the dam. Chris says, do you get tired of seeing churches the way you are fatigued with museums? No. I actually seek more churches. Oh, I want to see more churches. W.J. Blunt says Catholicism was suppressed but not erased. Catholics in Netherlands, especially in the south. Interesting. Closer to Belgium, WJ, because Belgium did not go through the Reformation as much as the Netherlands. Hey Danny, nice to see you here. The sky is beautiful. Oh yes. So someone asked about churches versus museums. It is personal preference because everyone's going to be different. Everyone has different interests when it comes to some people love arts, other people really love history, other people really love architecture. I really love the history of religion, and I really love architecture. So churches for me are such a pleasure to visit. I do seek them out. That's why I traveled to 2 places so far on my trip that were just for churches. Charles, France, and Canterbury, England. Wow, look at this building. Oh wow, look at it. It has a balcony and everything. That is amazing. Let me know what you prefer when traveling. What type of landmarks do you seek? Do you seek museums? Food, walking around? Churches? B. Chris loves World War II history. Yeah, I noticed a lot of people. There's a group of sect of people that actually go to World War II sites a lot. Or other war sites. In the US, sometimes the Civil War. Tambo says, I would like walking around the cityscape. Miss Fancy says in Utrecht, there's a lot of churches. Ah, interesting. Utrecht, okay, cool. Wow, that's a great building. Ron says, I just seek bathrooms. That's funny. Wendy says, I seek parks and benches. Parks are nice. Yeah. There's a few famous parks here. Aya for Aya is number 1 is food. Number 2 is art. B. Chris says, I like discovering new areas. Yeah, that's another aspect of travel. So for me, it depends, but sometimes it depends on the city. But sometimes I love coming to a city where I love exploring more of the newer areas, the hipper areas. So like if it were New York, it would be like Brooklyn and Queens. But of course, I'm from New York, so it doesn't really matter so much. But like London, it was interesting, or UK, it was interesting going to like Manchester and Sheffield. So this is interesting. There's all these new bridges all around this area of Amsterdam. Are they doing something new with bike infrastructure? Because this is a road and the tram passes through here as well. So are they trying to divert bike traffic or pedestrian traffic maybe? Maybe they're trying to do that. Yeah, maybe they're doing a pedestrian only bridge, or maybe it's a diverting bike traffic. Tomo says, I guess they are temporary. Are they? They could be. That too. They could be temporary for moving goods. Oh, there could be construction and they could just be temporarily moving them. I don't know. I'm very curious. B. Chris says, I like comparing the culture to another place I visit. Yes. Everywhere in Amsterdam is postcard perfect. Yes. Yeah. At least in this area, everything looks very similar to all the other ones. Now I'm very curious to see the new parts of Amsterdam, the more modern area. Rick says Prinsengracht Canal is the most upscale canal neighborhood. Ah. And is that where we're at right now? We're in Herengracht. B. Chris says, how will you describe the culture here? Straightforward. Forthright. So forthright is a bit different from straightforward. Forthright also means that sometimes it's rather blunt. That to American ear, sometimes what a Dutch person might say may to you sound like they're being rude or too opinionated, but no, it's just forthright. Snarky is the humor. Someone said it yesterday. They used the word snarky to describe the humor. To me, yeah, I think that describes the humor perfectly. It's snarky. It's a crosswalk. Here's another one. What are these? Bagels and beans. You just passed bagel shop. Oh yeah. So Tamo says Amsterdam humor is more blunt than other cities in Netherlands. Ah, interesting. Yeah, that is the case with a lot of major cities. But yeah, snarky is a good word, I think, for the humor. Snark. There has to be an official definition if someone could put it in of snark or snarkiness. But it's a bit more kind of smart, confident, sarcastic. Oh wow, we just went to a big circle. I didn't realize this. All right, let's explore a little bit of this area. There's no crosswalks here. What happened? It's funny, this I've never seen a city that cares more about the cyclists than even pedestrians. William says smart ass. Well, that would be the negative version of snark. But I don't mean it that way. So yeah, snarkiness can be used negatively, but I don't mean it negatively. Let's go this way. So we basically walked from there. We saw that building on the other side. This is the post office. We went through the post office, through here. We went all the way around, all the way around, all the way around over here. And we're back to square one. Now, we're going to new territory. A place no man has gone before. To boldly go where no tourist has ventured before. All right, many tourists have ventured here before, but let's embrace the drama. What is this? Shopping. Hey, Alex says, did you have dinner at De Blauw Hollander? A lot of people have recommended me that. De Blauw Hollander. I will look into it. Thank you so much. There's only so much time in the day, unfortunately, Alex. You're walking on the bike passes, Chris. Yeah, it's a bit hard because there's people walking on the it's a small sidewalk. So it's a bit hard to walk at the same time. My pace of walking is very fast, so Sometimes I feel like stuck on these walkways. Vin says the whole street is under construction. Vin from Bami, Delhi says the whole street is under construction because they want to make it a car-free road in the future. The project is called the Orange Looper. Ooh, I like that. Thank you so much, Vin, for letting us know. Ooh, wants to get a haircut. So thank you so much. Ooh, church. They're in the distance. Probably too late to see it. Are those bike garages, says Roxanne. Well, we passed by, was like a bike repair shop. But yes, there are also bike parking lots. And there is bike parking on the curb. So Vin just mentioned something very interesting. Back in the 1970s, they tried to do the reverse. 60s, 70s. During the late 50s, 60s, and up until basically the early 70s, Amsterdam was obsessed with cars, especially the government, especially the powers that be. They wanted to turn Amsterdam to as great as an American city, like Los Angeles. So, what was their bright idea? How do you build more roads in a beautiful cityscape like this that's from the 1600s mostly, 1700s, and a bunch of canals? What do you do? Let me know. What do you think you do to allow car traffic here? And car traffic quadrupled in the 60s in Amsterdam. So it was really, really getting congested. I'm going to show you around. What do you think we could do if we wanted to increase car traffic here? This was a time where there was not really specific bicycle infrastructure, so there were cars zipping through here. B. Chris got it right. Well, the smartest idea, according to these lawmakers and urban planners, was to fill in the canal. Yep, they wanted to fill in almost all the canals in the center of Amsterdam, like this one, and have huge roadways, and then concentrate the new urban area, some other area. Maybe it was like where the central station is at. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but they wanted to make like a skyscraper area. So this was very close. It was very close to being an actual huge stroads. So not quite highways. Some of them would have been highways. I'm not sure if this one's pretty big, so this could have been a highway. But other ones would have been stroads. If you don't know what stroad is, in America, usually we have like 5-6 lane roads. They're not highways. They're not barriered. And pedestrians can technically walk on them. And there's businesses on the side. But the thing is, since they're so wide, there's so many lanes, cars tend to zip really fast. And cars are always passing through it, so it's called stroad. So it's a bigger road. So this was supposed to be huge, gigantic stroads, American style. Imagine that. Roxanne has left a super chat tonight. Roxanne, $5 super chat. Says, for pastry tomorrow morning. Oh, thank you so much, Roxanne. I will deeply enjoy that pastry. Ida says, thanks to Luke who booked that last minute ticket to Anne Frank's museum. Yeah, thank you so much, Luke and Ida. Thank you so much for thanking Luke. You should film a haircut, says Alexander. I would love to. I have done it once and I did one TikTok. I gotta find a cool barber somewhere. Ron says, I think I just experienced deja vu. I must have seen this part of the live stream before. Yeah, Ron, because I've talked about the same story. Ron is having deja vu. Ron is having deja vu because all around the world, or at least many parts. Not into northern. I've been to Western Europe and the U.S. It's the same story. In Europe, most of the time they were unsuccessful, with the exception maybe with Stockholm with their highway that runs through the middle of the city, and Glasgow in Scotland. Those are the two ones that they managed to build those highways. Many places in Europe they were unsuccessful. Utrecht, the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands, was about to be completely decimated by highways. So if you see the Bronx today in New York City, that was about to be the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands, and someone just mentioned that it's one of the more beautiful cities in the Netherlands with a lot of churches. So that was about to be the case here. And God, it didn't happen. Let me know what you think. Should this become huge, gigantic stroads with cars zipping by? This will look like any New York City street, like the Upper West Side? Or was it good that this stayed as canals? Let me know. P. Chris says some of the sections of canals did get filled in. Oh no, yeah. Thank you so much for letting us know. I did not realize. I'd be curious to see the filled in ones. This used to be car parking, but it has been blocked off. Look at that. David says, leave the canals. Tamo says, Utrecht. Yes, I said Utrecht was about to be flattened, but it did not happen. Wendy says, canals stay. David says, leave the canals alone. All right. John says, looks nicer than the Cross Bronx Expressway. That would have been the case here. Contrast says, it was a good idea to preserve the uniqueness of the city. Susie says, no more BQEs. You know, BQE would have been right here. The Amsterdam version. Changing the canals to roads will have killed this city. This was the most idiotic idea ever, says Tomas. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad. So one of the reasons why it didn't go through was because there was massive protests with the Amsterdam Knights. How do I say people from Amsterdam? Amsterdamians? Amsterdaminians? Amsterdamites, I think it is. Yeah, they protested. Do the canals smell in certain areas, says Veronica. No, not really. It smells like a waterway, but it doesn't have a really distinct, heavy smell to it. William says, do they have a lot of mosquitoes? It's been cold these past 2 days. So usually when it's below about 72 degrees Fahrenheit, mosquitoes don't tend to come out in full force. You have to be really close to still water. The water is not that still. So I don't know for sure. I would speculate that yes, there are mosquitoes, but not as much as places with water that's more still, more tepid. Wow. All right, we're going to one last stop. We're going to that church over there. I have no idea what that church is, but it looks gorgeous. Let's see how it is. William says, I hear seagulls. Yeah, they're seagulls. They're circling the city. They are, yeah. They're hunting for some fruits. B. Chris says, in 2003, the city drained and excavated 2 of the canal riverbeds for the construction of the metro line. Oh, thank you so much, B. Chris, for letting us know. I've always wanted to go to Amsterdam, says Kami. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Let me know if you're enjoying these live videos. Are you going to get out and see some windmills, says Chris. Every day is a new adventure here on Urbanist. Stay tuned. Veronica says no traffic lights. At least here, it's a pretty long road. There's no lights, so cars are whizzing by pretty fast on this road. Darlene says, can you wear your shorts now? No. No. No shorts here. Too cold. I wish it was blazing hot. Otherwise, I would wear shorts. I might need to make a trip soon to the deserts of North Africa just so I can finally wear the shorts I packed. Saigon says, I love Amsterdam in the summer. Monday could get to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, finally. I mean, it's been a while. Been waiting to wear short shorts. Chris says, oh, nice. Too cold sounds very nice. Actually, it is very nice. I haven't sweated once during this trip. I've been pretty much sweat-free these entire 2 months, a month and a half traveling through Europe. Veronica says, I would love to see Morocco. Cool. Kay says, you'll be able to wear shorts next week. Yes. I'm gonna whip them out. Super short shorts. Not only showing calves, but showing full thigh. So it's the new hip style for men. Oh. This is something you don't see. Right here. Now, this is the difference why Venice looks like Venice and Amsterdam looks like Amsterdam. Okay, anyone let me know why you think so. I think here is very indicative of the different look of the cities. Yeah, this is a very good indication of why Venice looks like Venice and Amsterdam looks like Amsterdam. Why does Boston look like Boston and New York look like New York? Let me know. Have you learned any Dutch English, says B. Chris. No, not yet. We got 400 people tuning in. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you here. 410 people. Slam that like button. Contrast says it looks peaceful. It is peaceful. Yeah, it is peaceful. Urbanist, do you feel fat in the Netherlands compared to America? That's an odd question. No, I don't feel fat compared. Why would one feel fat? No, the food here is not too fatty. Luckily, there's a lot of green options here. Some other countries have felt a little bit more heavy food. Elizabeth says, hello. Hello, Elizabeth. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Thomas says it doesn't have the same ugly smell as Venice is definitely more odorous. So the reason I think Venice looks like Venice is because Venice doesn't really have a grid, canal grid. But Amsterdam does. Amsterdam, the canals are done in rings. And there's not that many of these canals crisscrossing through the center of the streets. So there's not a lot of quiet little canals. I mean, there's residential canal streets. But like this, you see a lot more of this in Venice. Canals that just cut straight through. And then you see the side of the buildings, the apartments there. There's like no sidewalk, no nothing. No bike path. Susie says it's like an alley with water. Precisely, yeah. Venice has a lot more of these. Amsterdam, barely. And then Amsterdam is more orderly than Venice. Chris says, are you a little homesick? Or have you forgotten where home is? Chris. Home is wherever I'm with my fellow viewers. That's where home is. Where I'm with all of you. Cue the song by Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. Am I homesick? Not yet. Not yet. I've not found myself to be homesick. I found myself wanting to extend my trip. Annette says, I love the friendly Dutch people who are the tallest and slimmest in Europe. They're like forest trees. That's a good way of putting it. Annette, yeah. People here are very nice and tall. I don't feel necessarily short, but yeah, I did notice that people here are tall. There's certain parts of America where people are really tall too. Anne says they're going to visit Utrecht. Been living there for many years. There you have canals, but it's very different than the ones in Amsterdam and Leiden. Susie says, I will be homesick after 3 weeks away. What was the longest time you traveled in one trip, says Barris. Well, I've been, throughout my childhood, I always went to Puerto Rico about 3 months every summer. But aside from my Puerto Rico trips, because Puerto Rico is basically the second home, for me, the longest I've ever traveled on my own is 2 months. And that was last year. 2 months and a half. That was last year when I went to Greece and then Italy. Went from mid-June all the way to August 31st. That was the longest. I will be beating that trip this time around. Wow, gorgeous church. Don't go back ever. Ronique says Americans are pretty tall. Yeah, there are places in America where I do really feel short. And I'm a very tall 5'3", so you gotta keep that in mind. Beautiful. I love the bricks here in Amsterdam. Beautiful brickwork everywhere. Elizabeth says, this is a Jewish temple? Yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. There are crosses, but there's also the Star of David. But there are also a lot of crosses. Huh. That's so interesting. I wonder why there is a Star of David. Was this a synagogue before, or did it become a synagogue later? Let's see the sign. Nope, it's a Catholic church. H. Franciscus Xavier. So it's St. Francis Xavier Roman Catholic Church. I wish these were open. Wow, even the Catholic churches here are closed. I'm shocked. Elizabeth says maybe it converted. Yeah, maybe it did convert. Though it's very rare to see synagogues with steeples. It's very rare to ever see a synagogue with steeples. I wonder if they added the steeples after converting to Catholicism. So, dating back all the way to even ancient times, the Jewish population wasn't really ever allowed to build steeples in major cities, especially ones ruled by the Catholic Church, because they were seen as reaching higher to God. And only Catholic churches could do that. So a lot of synagogues in any Catholic city, and even in the US this also applies, there really wasn't synagogues with steeples. In the US there were no laws as far as I know, but just they didn't do it. So that's why I find it very odd that this looks like it could have been a synagogue, but there's steeples on it. Wow, interesting. One more time, the views of Amsterdam right here. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I'll be posting a video of the Tulip Museum for super urbanists. Patreon.com/urbanist. They'll also be getting access to the Victor Hugo Museum later this week. They'll be getting access to the views of Copenhagen from the top of Christiansborg Palace. And you get access to the Museum of History in Paris, a walking tour through Canterbury's town center, and many, many other videos. The Paris Catacombs, full unedited video, the full walk through the catacombs in Paris. You end up getting all access to all the older bonus videos I've posted throughout the past few years, including Greece, Ireland, Italy. If you become a patron, patreon.com/urbanist, or press that join button on YouTube, or that become a supporter button on Facebook. So everyone, I'm off now to go on a gentle boat ride through Amsterdam, or maybe go to a coffee shop, or maybe do something else. Who knows? See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Western European time, 9 a.m. New York City time. And then again next week, Thursdays through Saturdays at 3 p.m. Western European time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Have a great day.